Hello, everyone. X-Walk Hill Bethelite here. And Jehovah's Witnesses, believe it or not, cause a lot of the issues within their organization with regards to sex by teaching people that essentially sex is unnatural. Like sex is just something that if you leave it alone, it'll leave you alone. I remember a talk, as a matter of fact, given, and the main points were don't stir up the bee's nest. That sex is something, and the desire to have sex is something that will not arise unless you purposefully cause it to arise. And the problem is Watchtower has people thinking that they can prolong not having sex when they themselves don't necessarily have the willpower to do so. Watchtower's teaching them, yeah, you do. Just don't stir up the bee's nest. I remember them using scriptures like the one in Job, where Job had a covenant of eyes not to look at women in a certain way. Well, there's a slight problem with that analogy, and that is that Job was married. Job had kids. Job had sex. That's more of a, I'm married, so I don't want to look outside my marriage to try to keep sex inside my marriage. Jehovah's Witnesses, on the other hand, the concept is the end of the world is right around the corner. Why would you want to start having a family now? Why would you want to have to worry about a family when you could just worry about yourself? Wait until this doomsday that they preach about happens. And then after that doomsday, then start looking for a wife and looking to enjoy sex. Well, people tried it, and as a result, people ended up falling for situations that they wouldn't have fallen for if they would have just dated, found a person that they could live with, and had sex with that person. Marriage, all of that. See, Jehovah's Witnesses also dictate dating, where you need to date a person and within 6 months to a year, you need to marry them or something's wrong with you, or y'all doing something wrong. Like, they won't even let people date different people to find somebody that they like. And I understand the reason why. Now, follow me with this. Follow this reasoning. This is Jehovah's Witness reasoning. I literally had this discussion with someone that was a Jehovah's Witness. They really believe that sex is something that if you don't stir it up, it won't overtake you. They really believe that if you don't go out and have sex with different people, then you won't know anything about sex, and therefore you'll be satisfied with whatever you end up with. That means that you should date somebody for 6 months to maybe a year, and after that you should marry them. Why? Because once you have sex with this person, seeing as how this should be your first time having sex with anybody, that means you shouldn't be aware of what sex should be like. So you shouldn't know if you don't like having sex with this person. You shouldn't know if the concept of sex with someone other than this person should just not even occur to you. You should not know anything about sex, therefore you shouldn't desire it. That is false, and that is what you get from getting sex education from a group of old men in New York called the governing body. that don't have any kind of PhD or doctorate degree in sex any more than I do. That's what you get from getting your sex education from a Watchtower magazine. They cause people to try to do something that they in of themselves don't have the ability to do, and that's just go without. Just go without sex. Now, let me go ahead and give you an example of someone who I was friends with. And we both got baptized literally at the same assembly. We would go out in service together. If he gave a talk in the school, then I'm congratulating him. Then I give one and he's congratulating me. Our concept is we both got baptized together. We're going to make sure that we are okay. We're going to take it upon ourselves to watch over each other. So think about it. That means I got pretty close to this person. I got pretty invested in this person. Well, the concept that he was taught, just like all of us, was don't stir up the bee's nest. As long as you don't go out there intending on doing something wrong sexual, the whole temptation, it's not going to be there. The temptation is not going to get bad because you're just not going to stir up the bee's nest. I'm standing right next to the elder telling him this. We go out in field service early in the morning, probably 10:30. We're out at the territory, and it's us two and a pioneer sister and another sister. And what ends up happening is nature. Nature took its course, is what ended up happening. We did not go out to the territory listening to sexually explicit music. We didn't go out to the territory talking about anything sexually explicit. It's early. We just started our day. We went out to the territory to go out in service and knock on doors. And what ends up happening is you have two guys and two women, and nature took its course. I ended up going out in service, or I ended up we paired up. He's like, we probably shouldn't leave the women to by themselves. Because let's say we end up going inside of a home, well, that leaves these two women out by themselves going around these blocks, and we need to have a man with them to make sure that they're okay. I agreed with that. That was logical. So I ended up going from door to door with the married sister, and he ended up going door to door with a sister who was older than him. She wasn't married, but this was not a peer. She wasn't married, but this is not somebody of his age group. And she was, to a certain extent, a little bit mentally slow. This is not somebody who you would think. She wasn't, let's physical build, let's say. She was slender build. There was nothing wrong, but she was older than him. And she's not all the way there. Honestly, everybody in the hall knew it. This is not just my opinion. So you wouldn't think that there would be, the bee's nest wouldn't get stirred up. There was nothing there to stir the bee's nest. We're just out in service. Well, guess what? After service, he invites to take her home because of the situation that occurred. She needed to go home. I was working with the pioneer sister. She needed her hours. And I was auxiliary pioneer, and I need as many hours as her, but I volunteered to help her stay and get her hours. I stayed with her. He drove home and took home the older, she was probably like 35 and he was probably like 22 or 23. All I saw was him hop in the car with her, or vice versa. She hops in the car with him. They drive off. He's supposed to be taking her home and then going home himself. And they went and had sex. They went and had sex. Now, if this young man was taught that he should pursue dating, he should go out and actively look for someone of his age group that is around about his same mentality, that he could marry and have sex with, he should actively pursue that. Jehovah's Witnesses tell him the opposite. Don't look into it. Don't stir it up, and it won't bother you. I couldn't talk to him after that because the next thing I know, he's getting disfellowship. Literally at the next meeting, he's getting disfellowship. They went straight and had sex. Sex is something that, and I'm just going to speak for men here, you're going to think about it anyway. You're going to think about it anyway. You might be able to control who you think about having sex with, but you're going to think about sex at some point. That much is a given. Sex is not something that's just going to go away. So what's going to end up happening is an opportunity is going to present itself and you're going to jump on whatever that opportunity is. As opposed to you going out and actively searching for a beneficial opportunity. Let's say instead of him finding a woman that is his age and that he could marry and, they could have sex, since, Watchtower was depriving him, he ended up settling for what ended up presenting itself. And that's woman, man, in car. One thing led to another. I can give you examples personally where I wasn't intending on thinking about sex and it came up. For example, and I keep it real, I keep it 100. We're going to talk about sex today, or at least we're going to talk about the actual desire, the urge itself, the thought itself. After Jehovah's Witnesses, I went and was searching for what could possibly be the true church, because I was raised to believe that there was one. So in that search, I started to study Catholicism, because logically in my mind, well, let's start with one of the older churches and let's work our way from there. Christianity is old, so let's start with the older ones, not the churches that just popped up later. So I start studying Catholicism and going to a Catholic church. I remember a Sunday morning, I woke up and prayed and read a little bit of the Bible. And then I went to the Catholic church, and they were having a mass, is what they would call it. And before mass, I got there early. I mean, I was in a spiritual state of mind. I got there early before church started so that I could pray. And I lowered the thing that you put your knees on, the knee rest, lowered it down, got down on my knees. And keep in mind, I have been in a spiritual mindset all day. Sex was the furthest thing that I was stirring up. I am on my knees at a Catholic church praying because they got all this iconography and everything all around. I'm like, if this will enhance my prayers, I want to be here. So I'm on my knees, literally hands folded, head down, praying. Sex, the furthest thing. that I have brought up in my mind. I raise my head up because I'm praying about my week. I'm praying about everything. I raised my head up, and there was a Catholic nun. She had some people with her, and she was directing them to the pew to sit in. They call them pews that you sit at, the chairs. So the nun directed these people to sit such and such a place. They filed in and sat. And I'm just in a prayerful mood, and I just kind of glance over. This is a nun. A nun has got every part of her body covered, except for like this part right here. Everything else is covered. There is no body part shape showing. And I just keep it 100. Whether you're religious or not, if there's a God, he already knows. Sex came to mind instantly. Instantly, within a split second. I didn't have time to say, no, don't think that way. It was there already. Why? Just this part right here that I could see was cute. Just that part right there was cute, and that was enough. That, and you could not see any specific physical shape of her body in that nun's uniform. But what I could see was she wasn't overweight. She was petite. That was all I needed. And here I am at church now. I'm fighting the thought of sex because that scared me. This is a nun. I'm in church. I'm not supposed to be thinking this. But here's the problem. Yes, you are. Sex is natural. Yes, you are supposed to be thinking about sex with women. If you're a woman, yes, you are supposed to be thinking about sex with men. This thing that you're fighting is not the devil. It's a natural inclination. Now, should I go and have sex with that nun? No, but I should actively pursue someone with whom I can have sex with, preferably someone that I could live with, and children oftentimes are a byproduct of sex. So someone I could live with and start a family with. That would be the optimal choice. But if Jehovah's Witnesses, which they do, feel like sex is something that is the devil and they can just fight it off, what ends up happening is an unfavorable opportunity presents itself, and they jump on it. They were talking about, you remember tight pants, Tony talking about tight pants? You're going to think about sex regardless of whether a woman has tight pants or not. If a woman has tight pants on, and he was talking about guys, but let's just say a woman, if she has yoga pants, I think they had, they were demonizing yoga pants. If a woman has yoga pants, all that does is you're going to think about sex sometime anyway. You're just thinking about it now because you saw this woman in yoga pants showing every inch of her shape. The only thing that does is, well, it made me think about sex now as I'm driving past this woman, as opposed to 20 minutes later where it was going to pop up in my mind anyway. It's almost like food where you drive by a restaurant, a pizza place, and you smell pizza. Like you just smell, just all kinds of good smells of dough freshly being baked and pizza. And you're gonna think about food anyway. You're gonna have something on your plate anyway. But now you're thinking about pizza in specific. And you're thinking about it now as opposed to later. It's the same, in my opinion, with sex. And y'all can comment down below. We can have a discussion about it. I don't have a PhD in sex. I don't have a doctorate degree in sex. I'm just talking reality. The Bible talks about the gift of singleness. And the problem is Watchtower promotes this because they want young men to work for free at Bethel and come there single because it's cheaper. They want young men to work for them for free. So, of course, they're going to push singleness on everybody. But the Bible that talks about the gift of singleness, it's a gift. They're talking about it as a gift. If you're gifted as far as your self-control, then yeah, you could just go without. But the Bible itself flat out says, but instead of just having this desire go unfulfilled for long periods of time, it's better to just get married so you can have sex all you want. That's the polar opposite of the Jehovah's Witness spin on it. Jehovah's Witness spin on it. This is a gift that you can have just if you choose to have it. As a matter of fact, most people should choose to have it because they want most people to go to Bethel. They want most young men to go to Bethel, not just guys that have a special ability to refrain from sex. That's why when women go on tours at Bethel, it's like people are looking at you with X-ray glasses, looking through your clothes, ready to jump in them panties. It's because they are. You got all these people who, some have been at Bethel 4, 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years, and are not married. If pornography is an issue at Bethel, it's because Jehovah's Witnesses Watchtower made it worse. If Jehovah's Witness had problem with pornography, most likely is because Watchtower made it worse. This person is starving for sex now. So yeah, of course, if he can just in the privacy of his own room go somewhere and types a word in and he's got all this sex on this computer, yeah, of course that's going to be a problem now, because you're not teaching people to pursue a healthy sexual desire. You're teaching this desire is evil. You're teaching this desire is something God does not want you to openly pursue. Yes, this is a good thing. So comment down below and let me know what you think, because this is just reality. I mean, yes, this nun was cute. The nun was cute. What little I could see was cute. And then that thought went from that to other things in half a second. And yeah, I could cut it off and go back to praying, which I did. Or not cut it off, fight it, try to think about other things, which I did. But that came back 45 minutes later after church. After church, I remember walking to my car and I'm about to just drive off, and I look through my rearview mirror and there's this woman standing, and the immediate thought is I'm about to hop out and ask her if she wants to, dinner or something. Like, are you hungry? Hey, let's go get something. Like it's not going anywhere. This isn't going anywhere. Bethel is worse because you have women there at Bethel and none of them are in bounds per se. Most of these women are married. So yeah, you're going to have problems with infidelity at Bethel, right? I remember Bethel, keep in mind, I keep it real with you guys. At Bethel, we had to read the entire Bible. So on top of my regular assignment, morning worship, going to my regular meetings, I had to, from the beginning all the way through, read the entire Bible. So I had a scheduled time to do that. And This is a rigid schedule. Morning worship, work, lunch, dish duty. Go start on your Bible reading before your meeting. And I remember being in the library, the really big library in the E-Res, and I got this really big Bible because it helps if you're going to be doing a lot of reading to have the big print. And I'm sitting here reading the big print Bible, and it's talking about concubines, and instantly sex, bam. You could be reading the Bible and the Bible can trigger it. The Bible can trigger it. It was talking I can't remember exactly what the scripture was. It don't matter. Anything can trigger it. People start, these things start to awaken at a young age. You got kids in middle school that they're starting to develop things physically, women developing breasts and different things like that. And I don't know exactly when the desire hits, but as these things develop, what you notice is middle school, high school, women and guys are all hot in the pants, boy. This desire is, and here's the thing. It's not that all these people in middle school were all looking at pornography. It's not that these people in middle school were all having sex before then. Some of them probably, I don't know. But it's because it's natural. That's why at a young age, middle school, of course, high school, it's full blown. There's times where, you get in that embarrassing situation in middle school. I remember it very well. Middle school, I didn't have no Playboy. I didn't have no computer to be looking up no pornography. I was just in school. And sex just pops up in your mind, and naturally you become erect. And I remember the teacher called on me to get up, do the next problem on the board. She was making everybody get up and do it. It was my turn. I'm trying to think of a reason to not have to do it because I knew I'd been aroused. I've been erect. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to get the thought out of my head to calm everything down. And it's funny now thinking back on it, but I didn't get everything calmed down before it was my turn. And not knowing what to do, I'm thinking, nobody's going to notice. So I stood up and everybody noticed because it's like you got a broomstick in your pants poking out, and it just bust out laughing. People just bust out laughing. And the teacher is like, and then has me sit down and goes to the next person. This is not something that's just going to go away if you don't stir it up. That desire is not going to go away. Yes, pornography will definitely stimulate it at whatever time you look at the pornography. Yes, an attractive woman will stimulate it at whatever point that you look at this attractive woman. But without the pornography, without the attractive woman, without the tight pants, without the yoga pants, you're still going to think about it. And anything could trigger it. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. X-Wall Kill Bethelite signing out.